Coastal communities from South Florida through the Carolinas are preparing for the worst as Dorian approaches. Mandatory evacuation orders will be in effect later today in more than a dozen counties across 3 states, 9 of them in Florida alone. 7 other counties there are under voluntary evacuation orders. Mark Strassmann is on the beach in St. Augustine, Florida, about 40 miles southeast of Jacksonville. Mark, what's happening there?
Good morning. Good morning. What's happening here is this. Everyone who lives on this beach and everyone who lives in St. Augustine has to get out later today. The county's imposing a mandatory evacuation order that begins later this morning. As this hurricane moves closer to shore, everyone agrees that Dorian looks daunting.
Health First Cape Canaveral Hospital was taking no chances. Dozens of patients, hurting and vulnerable, were moved inland and away from Dorian's menace. In St. Augustine, Joe Colsant packed up what he can't live without, the contents of his safe and his family of 4.
Do you typically stay or do you typically go?
We go depending on the storm. Sometimes we stay, but this one is like definitely get out of here. Yeah.
And why is that?
I think the catastrophic dimensions of the 5 and the immensity of the storm and how it's moving.
For reference, I want to show you why people here take Dorian seriously. This is the same spot 3 years ago when Hurricane Matthew flooded city streets for blocks. Like Dorian, Matthew was a monster Category 5 storm.
Coastal Florida now is battening down and boarding up with widespread evacuation orders in effect. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis.
If you are ordered to evacuate, safety comes first, and you don't want to mess with a storm that is going at 185 miles per hour.
Forrest and Greg Goldstein told us Labor Day tourism plummeted. Their juice bar business was down at least 50%.
It's not what we expected. I mean, the streets are literally empty.
Those empty streets may have hurt the area financially, but they helped Rob Hardwick. The St. Augustine Beach police chief has fewer people to worry about.
I just don't want to be complacent because one shift in a few degrees and it's on top of us.
Airport closures are another sign that Dorian scares this coast. Palm Beach County International Airport is already closed, and airports in Melbourne and in Fort Lauderdale will be closing at noon today. Anthony?
All right, Mark, thank you. You can follow Hurricane Dorian around the clock and watch our streaming service CBSN with our CBS News app or by logging on to cbsnews.com.